and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking about the top 10 evil kids. Now, a lot of people say that evil is a learned behavior, but these kids have me questioning that a lot. These guys seem to have been born nasty. Coming in at number 10, we have the child of rage, Beth Thomas. Beth is known as a child of rage. It was established when she was a child that she was a psychopath. To be totally fair to Beth, she was sexually abused as a child, which is likely where her behavior issues come from. Nonetheless, she openly admitted that she would stab her parents. She was adopted by a Christian couple and she terrorized them and their other children. She killed pets, had a violent rage, and would masturbate aggressively in public. A documentary about Beth was shot when she was just 6 in the 80s and it was called Child of Rage. It's one of the creepiest things that I've ever seen. Here's a little excerpt for you.
Beth.
Stab him.
Okay. What would you stab him with?
A knife.
Beth was treated for her behaviour. She then studied a degree, wrote a book about turning her life around called More Than a Thread of Hope, and she now works as a nurse. Perhaps evil, with the right amount of love and care and attention, can be cured. Next up we have Canada's youngest killer, JR, at number 9. The youngest multiple killer in Canada can't be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, but her crimes do speak for themselves. Known as JR, aged just 12, the child from Medicine Hat in Alberta killed her family. She did this with the help of her boyfriend Jeremy Steinker. Now, Jeremy was 23 at the time, which is extremely sick. 12 and 23. Absolutely not. In 2006, JR and Jeremy cut her 8-year-old brother's throat and stabbed her parents to death, then fled. Neither admitted to killing the child. Initially, police thought that she'd been abducted, but after uncovering evidence in her school locker, they realized that she had planned the attack herself. She was released from jail in 2016 and now lives with a new identity. Next up, we have the youngest American sentenced to life in prison, Lionel Tate, at number 8. In 1999, Lionel was a 12-year-old boy living in Florida. One night, his mother was babysitting a 6-year-old Tiffany eunuch, but left her son in the room with the child while she went upstairs to watch TV. Over the course of 45 minutes, Lionel abused and beat the child to death. Prior to the incident, he'd been suspended from school 15 times for violence and general behavioural issues. Coming in at number 7, we have John Venables and Robert Thompson. So this was a huge story in the UK in 1993. On February the 12th, 10-year-olds John and Robert lured away a 2-year-old in a shopping centre in Liverpool. Taking the toddler away from his mother, they took the boy by the hand and then tortured and brutally murdered him. I'm not going to give you the graphic details, but it was vile. The only reason they were caught was because the abduction was captured on CCTV. Coming into number 6, we have Mary Flora Bell. In 1968, Mary Bell was just 11 and living in Newcastle upon Tyne. At a time when kids her age were riding bikes and playing in parks for fun, she was torturing children. If that wasn't bad enough, she turned to murder. She strangled 2 toddlers, Martin Brown, who was 4, and Brian Howe, who was 3. The bodies had also been cut with razors. Mary was caught and sent to a juvenile prison where she escaped in 1977 and gave up her virginity to a fellow male escapee. She was caught and returned to prison, but then she was released from jail 3 years later, so she's out there. We have a tiny evil king at number 5, Murad the Fourth. Murad came to power in the Ottoman Empire in the 17th century. He was between the ages of 11 and 14, we're not sure exactly. While generally considered a good ruler in terms of the country's strength, he was fierce, tyrannical, and bloodthirsty. He killed his siblings, had a group of women drowned for dancing, and killed a court musician for singing a song he didn't like. He also killed people who were brave enough to challenge him, impaling their bodies on spikes and then publicly exhibiting them. He sounds very King Joffrey. Coming into number 4, we have Jesse Osborne. Sometimes it isn't about kill count, it's about intent. Jesse Osborne killed just 2 people, but he was hoping to kill 150. Jesse had just turned 14 when he turned up at Townville Elementary School in September 2016 with a semi-automatic pistol ready to kill. He'd already shot and killed his own father before he got to the school in North Carolina. Prior to the attack, he extensively googled school shootings. He wrote a plan in which he outlined how he was going to get to the school and how many people he was going to kill. He wanted to outdo other school killers. He wrote down that he thought he could kill 50 or 60, but I quote, "maybe if I get lucky, 150. He killed a 6-year-old boy, wounded a teacher and another 2 children, but luckily he was apprehended before he can do any more damage. Obviously his intent was there, so I'm glad that he was stopped. Coming into number 3, we've got the Boston Fiend. Always sinister with a pencil sketch. This is Jesse Pomeroy, otherwise known as the Boston Fiend. Now, he reigned terror in the 19th century. Jesse was straight up deranged, murderous, and unrepentant to boot. It's thought that he first killed aged 14, but he began physical attacks on kids when he was just 11. He knifed younger boys, leaving them permanently scarred. When he was 13, he was sent to a juvenile correctional facility, but when he got out, he brutally murdered 9 children, including a 4-year-old. Aged 16, he was committed to solitary confinement, where he spent the next 31 years. After that, he was commuted to life in prison. 31 years in solitary. I mean, if he wasn't mad before, he must have been after 31 years in his own head. Next up, this serial killer showed signs of evil from a very, very early age. We have Edmund Kemper at number 2. Edmund started off disturbed and then turned into a fully fledged murderer. Age 10 in 1959, he buried a cat alive. He waited for it to die, then he dug it up, decapitated it, and put its head on a spike. He later killed other animals, keeping pieces of their bodies in his closet. He'd mutilate his sister's dolls, and his favourite game was Gas Chamber, a game that he invented where he'd pretend to be dying in a gas attack. Clearly, he was very disturbed. Age 14, he killed his grandparents with a rifle and then stabbed their bodies. When the police came, he said he wanted to feel what it was like to kill grandma. He went to jail until he was 21, when he was released on parole. Now, 3 years later, he began a murdering spree, picking up female hitchhikers. He would then kill them and engage in necrophilia. He later even killed his mother and her friend, which eventually led to his arrest. Finally, coming in at number 1 of our top 10 evil children, we have the world's youngest serial killer, Amardeep Sada. So Amardeep became the world's youngest serial killer aged 7. Sada was from a village in India where he killed 3 babies, and that's just what we know of. It's suspected that actually he's probably killed more. One of the babies he killed he bludgeoned to death with a stone and then buried in an unmarked grave. He even killed his own baby sister. When questioned about the killings, he seemed totally blasé. He admitted it and then asked for a biscuit before the police were phoned. He's now in jail, but imagine what he could have become if he was left out on the loose. So guys, that was the top 10 evil kids. My question once again to you is evil born or do you raise evil? A lot of these kids have made me think that actually, perhaps there are just bad seeds out there. Let me know in the comments section down below. I'm your host, Rebecca Felgate. If you like this video, make sure you give it a good thumbs up, share it with a friend, and stay subscribed for more top 10 lists. Bye!